All right. Let's jump into this Sei blockchain deep dive, huh?
Yeah,
You sent us a ton of info on Sei, so I'm guessing you really want to wrap your head around it.
definitely. There's a lot to cover.
Okay, so let's break it down, what Sei is, what it does, and why everyone's making such a fuss about it.
Sounds good.
I keep seeing this phrase everywhere, the first parallelized EVM. What's the big deal about that?
Well, it's all about the sort of balance between uh, Ethereum and Solana, right?
Okay,
So think about it like this. Ethereum, it's like a busy city center, reliable, yeah, but often jammed up.
right.
Solana is like, a high-speed freeway, super fast for sure, but you kind of need a roadmap to navigate it.
Yeah.
Sei is aiming to be more like that perfectly designed highway system.
See the speed without the headache.
Exactly. They're shooting for Solana-like speed, but with like the ease of use of Ethereum.
Okay, I like where this is going. Best of both worlds, right?
Exactly.
But how does that translate to actual performance?
We're talking about seriously fast transaction speeds.
Like how fast?
I mean, Sei is claiming 400 millisecond finality. And get this, a whopping 5,030 transactions per second.
Whoa, those are some serious numbers. But for someone who's not a blockchain expert, what does that actually mean? Like, what can you actually DO with that kind of power?
It's a game changer, really. It just opens up so many possibilities, especially for applications that really need speed and efficiency. Imagine decentralized exchanges where trades happen like instantly,
Wow, yeah.
or next level gaming platforms with super complex interactions happening
Well,
seamlessly.
starting to get it, yeah.
Or even super sophisticated financial applications that can handle huge volumes. That's the potential here.
I see why people are so excited about this.
Yeah.
So how do they actually achieve that level of performance? I'm seeing terms like parallel execution, twin turbo consensus, and Sei, and honestly, they sound kind of intimidating.
Right, right. Parallel execution is really the core of Sei's speed.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine making a multi-layered cake. Traditionally, you bake it step by step, right?
Yeah.
Sei's parallel execution is like having multiple ovens going at the same time, all working on different parts of the cake.
So instead of processing transactions one after another, Sei can handle multiple things at the same time. Okay, that makes sense. What about twin turbo consensus? That sounds intense.
Well, it's basically how they make sure everyone on the network is on the same page. Like everyone agrees on what transactions happen and in what order.
Yeah.
That's really important for security.
Right, of course.
The twin turbo part refers to how Sei achieves this so quickly. They've got this two-pronged approach. First, they pre-process transactions, kind of like, prepping all your ingredients before you start cooking. Then they have this really efficient way for everyone to agree on the order of those transactions, making the whole process super fast.
So they've streamlined the whole process.
Wow.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Sei. That one seems like it's about data storage, am I right?
You got it.
Okay.
So we talked about Solana being really fast.
Yeah.
Well, Side B is Sei's way of making sure that speed doesn't come at the cost of being developer-friendly or efficient. It's their own custom-built database designed specifically to handle massive amounts of data that a high-performance blockchain creates.
So what's a good real-world comparison? What does Sei actually DO that makes it stand out?
Imagine upgrading from an old filing cabinet to a perfectly organized digital library where you can find anything instantly.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
That's basically what Cytica is doing, but for blockchain.
All right, so we've got speed, we've got efficiency, and a solid way to handle data. But what about the developers? How easy is it for them to actually build on Sei?
Well, that's where Sei's EVM compatibility comes in, and it's a game changer.
Right. That EVM compatibility, remind me, what does that actually mean for developers?
It means that anyone who's comfortable building on Ethereum, which is a ton of blockchain developers, can easily switch over to Sei. They can use their same tools, same programming languages, even a lot of their existing code. So it makes Sei super attractive to developers.
Smart move. But I've been reading that Sei isn't just content with just being EVM compatible. They're pushing interoperability even further, aren't they?
Exactly. They're not limiting themselves to just Ethereum.
Okay.
Sei is also designed to work with CosmWasm, which is another big technology used by other blockchains.
Right. So that's where those pointer contracts come into play.
I
keep hearing that term thrown around.
Yes. That's it. It's like breaking down the walls between all these different blockchains out there. Think of it this way. You've got a bunch of people speaking totally different languages.
Right.
Well, pointer contracts are like expert translators, helping everyone understand each other.
Okay. So instead of each blockchain being its own little island, Sei is like building bridges to connect them all.
Exactly. And that just opens up a world of possibilities for developers. Just imagine you could combine like the security of Ethereum with the speed of something like Cosmos, all in the same application.
Wow. That's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
This is already a lot to take in, but I feel like there's still so much to cover.
Well, there's more, yeah.
What about the users, like me? How can we actually participate in this whole Sei network? I keep seeing stuff about staking and governance.
Ah, yes. That's where things get really interesting for you.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. Let's talk about staking first. How does that work on Sei? And more importantly, what's in it for me?
Okay, so Sei uses something called delegated proof of stake, or DPoS for short.
Yeah.
It's a way to keep the network secure and reward everyone who participates. So basically, you can stake your Sei tokens to support what's called a validator. Think of it like putting your Sei tokens to work for the network.
And validators, they're the ones who keep the network running smoothly, right?
Exactly. They verify transactions and add new blocks to the blockchain. Very important stuff.
Right.
When you stake your Sei with a validator, you're kind of like vouching for them, saying, hey, I trust this validator.
Got it. So what's the incentive for me to be such a stand-up community member?
Well, you earn rewards. Think of it like earning interest, but on your crypto.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
Mm-hmm.
But before I go staking all my Sei, are there any risks involved?
It's always smart to be aware of the risks, right?
Right.
So there's this thing called slashing you should know about. If the validator you're supporting tries to cheat or goes offline for too long, you can actually lose some of your Sei.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's super important to do your research and pick a validator with a good reputation.
So it's not just about the rewards. It's about finding a validator that's trustworthy, reliable. Got it.
Exactly. Do your research just like you would with any big financial decision.
Solid advice. Now, what about governance? You mentioned that I could actually have a say in how Sei evolves, which sounds super cool.
It is really cool. It's all about community ownership. As a Sei token holder, you get to vote on proposals, big or small, that can shape the future of Sei, from technical upgrades to how they use funds.
So it's not just the developers calling all the shots. I actually have a voice.
Exactly. It's a way for the community to steer the ship, make sure Sei stays true to its vision.
That's a pretty big responsibility.
Right.
Anything I should be aware of before I go casting my vote on everything?
Of course. Sei has a ton of info on how this whole governance process works, the different types of proposals, how voting power is calculated. Definitely worth reading up on before you jump in.
Okay, Sei governance deep dive added to my to-do list. So just to be sure I'm following along, we've got a blockchain built for speed, easy for developers to use, opportunities to earn rewards, and D, a say in how it evolved.
You got it.
Wow, okay, and we're just scratching the surface here.
Oh yeah, we've only just begun.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more. Sei has some unique features that really make it stand out.
Well, don't leave me hanging. What else does Sei have up its sleeve? Last time you mentioned Sei has some unique features that really make it stand out. I'm curious to dive into those a little bit. What's got your eye?
One of the things I think is really interesting about Sei is this focus on decentralized finance. DeFi, right?
Right, DeFi, yeah. It's been a hot topic for a while now.
Yeah.
What makes Sei's approach to DeFi stand out?
Well, they're really purpose-built for these complex financial applications.
Okay.
A prime example is their use of on-chain order books.
So we touched on on-chain order books earlier, but I got to admit, I'm still a little fuzzy on how they actually work.
Okay, so picture this. You want to trade some crypto.
Yeah.
On a traditional exchange. Your order, whether it's buy or sell, gets matched up with another order in this big centralized order book.
Right.
Sei takes that same order book functionality and puts it right on the blockchain.
So instead of relying on a central authority to manage everything, it all happens securely and transparently on the Sei blockchain.
You got it. No more trusting some third party to handle your trades,
Yeah.
Plus, because Sei is so fast, so efficient, these on-chain order books can handle a ton of trades without slowing down.
Wow, that's impressive. But why is this such a game changer for DeFi in particular?
It's all about bringing this next level of transparency and security to decentralized exchanges.
Okay.
Because remember, Sei is designed for speed and performance. That means these exchanges can actually compete with the traditional platforms. We're talking real-time order matching, sophisticated trading strategies, the work.
This is sounding really sophisticated. Makes me think of those, high-frequency trading algorithms they talk about on Wall Street.
It's very similar. And that's one of the things that's really cool about this. Sei's performance unlocks all these possibilities for really advanced trading but on the blockchain.
So we're talking about things like algorithmic trading, arbitrage opportunities, all happening in this decentralized and trustless environment. That's a game changer.
Exactly. It's a whole new frontier.
Wow. Okay, so that's for the pros, but what about someone like me who's just starting to learn about DeFi? Does Sei offer anything for us regular folks?
Absolutely. Remember we were talking about Sei's dual address support?
Right, yeah.
Well, that's really useful for DeFi too. People can use either a Sei address or those familiar Ethereum 0x addresses to manage their assets, which just makes it easier to use all those cool DeFi applications being built on Sei.
So it's all about making DeFi more accessible.
Exactly. They're trying to bridge that gap between traditional finance and the world of DeFi, but in a way that's powerful and user-friendly.
Sounds like they've thought of everything. But what about security? DeFi's had some issues in the past, hasn't it? How does Sei handle those concerns?
Yeah, security is huge in DeFi, no doubt. One of the ways Sei addresses this is through its approach to front-running protection.
Front-running protection. That
Well.
sounds kind of ominous. What is front-running and how does Sei protect me from it?
Okay, so front-running is basically a way for, let's say, savvy traders to get an advantage, right? Because of the way transactions are processed on a blockchain, they can see your transaction, let's say it's a big buy order, and then they can sneak in their own order ahead of yours.
Oh, so they're like jumping the queue.
Exactly. And that can drive the price up, so they profit, but at your expense.
That sounds very unfair.
Yeah, it's a real problem. It's actually been an issue for some blockchains, but Sei has these mechanisms to stop this from happening.
Okay, good. So how do they level the playing field?
They use something called frequent batch auctions.
Okay.
I won't get too technical, but basically, instead of handling transactions one by one, Sei groups similar trades together and then executes them all at the same time for the same price.
I see.
That makes it way harder for those front runners to take advantage.
So it's like a more fair, more orderly market. Everyone has a fair shot.
Exactly. Sei wants to create a transparent and equitable trading environment, which is super important for DeFi if you want people to trust it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. This whole deep dive into Sei's DeFi capabilities has been really eye-opening. But are there any other DeFi-focused features that you think our listeners should know about?
Yeah. One more thing I want to touch on is their support for what's called MEV smoothing.
Okay, that one definitely sounds like we're getting into the weeds. What is MEV smoothing and why should I care about it?
So MEV, or maximal extractable value, is basically this potential profit that validators, the folks we were talking about earlier,
Right.
can make from how they order transactions in a block.
So are you saying that validators could prioritize certain transactions over others just to make more money for themselves?
That's the danger, right? But what makes Sei different is that they've got these built-in mechanisms to minimize that potential for manipulation.
Yeah.
They want to create this fair and predictable environment where you don't have to worry about your transactions being unfairly treated, you know?
So again, Sei is focusing on fairness and transparency in the DeFi space.
Exactly. They're really trying to address some of those potential problems and make Sei the most trustworthy platform for decentralized finance.
I see a theme here. Sei isn't just about being faster or more efficient. It's about building a fairer and more inclusive financial system.
Yeah, you got it. Empowering users.
I am so impressed with what Sei is building. This is amazing, but I know it's just one part of the whole Sei ecosystem. What about those tools and resources you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. There's a lot more to cover there. Sei has created so many great tools and resources for both developers and everyday users.
Okay, so don't leave us hanging. Let's talk about that. Okay, So we've talked about Sei's tech, their vision for DeFi. What about the tools and resources? How do they make this all a reality?
Yeah, this is where it gets really exciting. Sei has put so much work into building a really supportive ecosystem for developers, and it all starts with their dual VM approach.
Right. We touched on that earlier, EVM compatibility and decosm support.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who doesn't live and breathe code, what does that actually mean? What tools are we talking about?
It basically means they're giving developers options. If you're comfortable in the Ethereum world, you can just bring your skills and your favorite tools right over to Sei.
Nice.
But if you're more into Rust and Cosmwasm, Sei's got you covered too.
So no matter what your background is, you're good to go.
Exactly. And it goes beyond that. They actually developed their own JavaScript library at Sei.js specifically for Sei.
At Sei.js, I saw that in the documentation. What does that do?
It's like this awesome toolkit made just for Sei. It helps developers interact with the blockchain, handle transactions, manage their smart contracts. Everything's streamlined.
So whether they're building a new exchange, a gaming platform, whatever at Say.js has their back.
Yeah. And Say's constantly improving these tools to make things even easier for developers.
That's great for developers. But what about the rest of us who are just starting out with Say? What can we use?
Well, they've got this great app, the Say app. It's like your one-stop shop for anything Say.
Look, what can I deal with it?
Well, you can manage your Say tokens, send and receive, store them safely, all the basics. But there's more. You can stake your Say right from the app, vote on governance proposals, even explore the new apps being built on Say.
So it's kind of like a crypto wallet, but with a bunch of extra size-specific features built in.
Exactly. It's designed to be super easy to use for everyone, no matter your skill level.
I like it. It sounds like they've really made Say accessible to everyone. But where do I go to learn more, to really get into the nitty-gritty, to connect with the community?
Well, Say has a great website, tons of information, documentation, tutorials, even blog posts, plus links to all the social media.
Speaking of social media, where's the best place to connect with other Say fans?
Definitely Twitter. The whole Say team is on there, developers, community members, everyone's sharing updates and insights. It's a great place to be.
Perfect. Twitter it is. What about Discord or Telegram? Are those good places to connect to?
Oh yeah, they have a really active Discord. Super helpful if you need technical help or if you just want to chat with other users. Really supportive community.
So no matter what, there's a place for everyone.
Exactly, and that's what's so cool about Say. It's not just about the tech, it's about the community, the shared vision.
Well said. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this deep dive. We covered a lot today. Say, super fast architecture, their DeFi plans, the tools, the resources, so much.
It was a lot, and it's just the beginning for Say.
I'm excited to see what's next. Thank you to everyone listening for joining us as we explored Say. Until next time, keep exploring the world of blockchain.